to make the news again at the latest for Los Angeles 2028, I think. So yeah, there's been growth in Germany, and I think it's really helped by the ubiquity of streaming nowadays. The European Cricket League is streaming all their matches on YouTube, so it's accessible for people. It's not like back in the old days when you had to basically have a satellite dish somewhere in your backyard, tuned to an English satellite or something like that.
Well, I can remember being in the Dordogne. This would be in the early '90s, where I spent 3 summers at a friend's jeep down there, and it was crackly medium wave, which
Yeah.
sometimes came and went. You get the BBC commentary, and even though cricket was played, I've played cricket in Périgueux, for example, because there's a big expat
Mm.
English community. So I played a couple of matches in the heat of the south of France, but you often had to wait 2 days before visiting a town and go into the Carrefour and picking up a 2-day-old copy of Guardian International to find the scores out. That seems relatively recent to me, but it shows how much the media environment has changed
Yeah.
from waiting 2 days to get the scorecard to more or less just watching it instantaneously.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, that's also a very very big thing for me because I really got into cricket. The first time I had access to all the British newspapers at
Yeah,
university. Um, that was I started university in 2003, so 2005 was a really really big thing for me. The Ashes.
ideal. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So, and I think today it's a lot easier, and I think I really like the democratization of coverage as well, because it it ends this exclusivity. It's not the public school boys anymore who are the only ones allowed to talk about it. Everyone else is talking about it, and I think that's really important. You need a multitude
Yes, I
of
think it
voices.
is. Yeah, it's not really the same point, but I am a little discombobulated sometimes that the I think all T20s are treated as T20 internationals, and this is not a complaint about sort of protection of statistics
Yeah.
or something, but sometimes when I tune in, it's park cricketers playing in a park, and sometimes those park cricketers come up against cricketers who are easily good enough to play professional cricket.
Yeah.
And when you see scores of like 350 for two in 20 overs or
Hmm.
something, and you get ex-internationals, I don't think that helps the game. I don't think it helps the countries that are coming through to have their players treated like that. But it's a difficult one to do. I also worry a little bit about the costs of having to get umpires and having to get sometimes referees. And in particular, I worry about the opportunities for biggery pokery with gambling in some of these matches. But the ICC is just too weak as a world governing body. Gideon Haigh has written extensively on how the ICC isn't really a governing body
Hmm.
at all.
Yeah.
It's a kind of loose agglomeration of different interests, and I think the challenges for the game are about the integrity, particularly with regard to gambling, and the kind of whether how to find a playing field that works. And I know there are divisions of these teams, and I know
We are back. Sorry, everyone. for some reason, YouTube decided to do a YouTube and end the live stream. Anyway, we are back with the final session of the day. The Australian openers are out there. Usman Khawaja facing Jasprit Bumrah, and he starts with 2 dot balls. He has faced 2 deliveries. He has not scored a run yet. At the non-strikers end, there is Nathan McSweeney. Yeah, sorry again for disconnect. There is extreme seam movement and swing for Jasprit Bumrah with the pink ball under the lights. He bowls right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Usman Khawaja, and he angles it across him and nearly takes the top of Khawaja's off stump there. Interesting. As I said before, the afternoon sessions, the evening sessions, probably the worst ones for the batsman. But Usman Khawaja is off the mark, clipping one off his legs from Bumrah for 4 runs towards square leg. Finding the boundary, and Australia and Usman Khawaja are off the mark. So, 4-for-no loss for Australia. India made 180 in their first innings. Let's see if the Indian bowlers can get any wickets in this evening session. Next delivery, Bumrah continues over the wicket, angles it across Khawaja, and Khawaja leaves that one. There is no run. Final delivery of Jasprit Bumrah's over to come. He is thrown the ball by, I think that is Mohammad Siraj, who is fielding at mid-off. And Bumrah continues, and this one is defended by Khawaja towards backward point. And there is no run. Bumrah is handed his cap and sunglasses by the umpire, and I would think that India will continue with Mohammad Siraj. Give me just a second to skeet out that we have a new stream. We have a new link for the stream. I will be back with you in a second, but I can inform you that it is indeed Mohammad Siraj. Continuing. Maybe I will wait just a second as McSweeney defends the first one of Siraj, and there is no run. All right, here we go. Didn't miss much. 3 deliveries bowled by Mohammad Siraj. 3 dot balls played out by Nathan McSweeney, whose highest test score thus far is a 10. A 10 he made in the second innings in Perth because he was out for a duck in the first one. And Mohammad Siraj is beating his outside edge as McSweeney looks to defend one that is very, very straight from Siraj. There is not that much between bat and ball there. In comes Siraj again. This time he angles it down the leg side, and Rishabh Pant takes it on the tip of his fingers, head on, throws down the gloves to look at his fingertips, making sure nothing is broken or bruised, I think. As McSweeney takes strike again, and in again comes Mohammad Siraj. Right arm over the wicket to the right-handed McSweeney, and this one is on a length in the channel, and McSweeney leaves it, and there is no run. So after 2 overs bowled, Australia remain on 4 for no loss. Let's have a look at if anyone is watching. Yeah, I'm very sorry that I had to put out another stream, but YouTube ended my session after the second session. So as we are now seeing on screen, Jasprit Bumrah is back for his 4th innings. He is currently the highest rated test bowler according to the ICC rankings. He is bowling to Usman Khawaja, as Khawaja decides to leave one very, very late. He throws up his bat almost at the same time that the ball passes him, and Jasprit Bumrah sneaks one through the very, very wide gate there, but there is no run. Bumrah continuing, and this time he goes around the wicket to the left-handed Khawaja, and there is very, very excessive seam movement for Jasprit Bumrah, moving the ball away from the left-hander Usman Khawaja, who is on 4 of 9. On the other end, there is Nathan McSweeney in his second test. He's on none of 6. But yeah, as I said before, the evening session probably the most difficult for the batsman to face, as Bumrah comes in around the wicket and it is defended by Khawaja back into the pitch, and Bumrah fields it, and there is no run. Yeah, probably the worst. The worst session for the batsman, especially or specifically in a pink ball test, as we are seeing the fields. There are slips, there is point, there is mid on, mid off, and a wicket. Australia remain on 4 without loss, and there is one more delivery from Jasprit Bumrah to come in this over, his second of the Australian first innings. The Australians are 4 without loss, trailing by 176 runs. After India were all out for 180. Bumrah, right arm around the wicket, angling one to the leg side across Khawaja, who tries a leg glance, misses it, and it is taken cleanly by Rishabh Pant. There is no run. 3 overs bowled. Australia 4 without loss. Let's see if anything is happening. You can always use... Oh, yes! Okay, looking at YouTube. Stephen Kalk says that it's very quiet. And he says that other YouTube videos have much higher volume. I have adjusted my levels. I hope it's okay now. And I'm sorry, but for technical reasons, I don't know why YouTube ended the session for the live stream after 2 sessions of cricket. But I'm back, and I hope everything... Yeah, volume just increased, says Stephen. Yes. And hello and welcome, everyone, back for the afternoon session. There was a bit of a fixing potholes in the meantime, after 3 overs having been bowled. Someone with the sledgehammer came out, and it's not that tool you generally use to flatten the ground, but it was a real sledgehammer, and they put down the sledgehammer on the potholes. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, Mohammad Siraj is back for his second over. He is bowling to Nathan McSweeney. Australia are 4 without loss, and we are seeing pictures of Marnus Labuschagne, who is padded up in the dressing room for Australia, as McSweeney is yet to score. 2 deliveries faced in this second Siraj over. Yeah. Third one is again a dot ball. The only scoring shot this far in the Australian innings has been a boundary by Usman Khawaja, who is on 4 of 12. McSweeney on none of 9. His highest test score thus far is a 10. Which he scored in the, I think, first innings of the Perth Test. India, for reference, have been dismissed for 180 all out, as McSweeney clips one to backward square leg, where it is fielded and there is no run. Ooh, that's a very, very thick inside edge from McSweeney. I don't think he was looking for a clip to backward square leg. As we are seeing the field, there are 3 slips. There is a square leg, there is a point, there is a mid on, there is a mid off. As Siraj continues, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed McSweeney. This one is on a length and it is an outswinger that McSweeney leaves. Final delivery of Mohammad Siraj's second over is yet to come, as he is retying his shoes now. Shubman Gill is talking to him and shining the ball currently. Now Mohammad Siraj has the ball back in hand. He is walking back to his mark. Final delivery of his second over to come now. No. He takes a bit more time. Here he comes now. And this one is on the shorter side of on the length. And McSweeney leaves that one probably on length. And there is no run. Another maiden for India. 3 maidens thus far out of the 4 overs bowled. And let's have a look at social media. Stephen Kirk says, much better. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. You can always use the YouTube chat, but you can also use Blue Sky. Previously, I used Twitter as well, but I have given up on Twitter, to be quite honest. So everyone can use Blue Sky now. You don't have to be invited onto the platform. So go ahead, everyone, make a Blue Sky account if you want to get in touch. You can find me at linuxlea.bsky.social. The other ones are accounts you should also follow. And these are people that will join the stream for this second test of the 2024-25 Border Gavaskar Trophy. As Jasprit Bumrah continues, first delivery of his third over is a dot ball, as is the second one that is inside edged by Usman Khawaja towards backward square leg, and there is no run. So Australia remain on 4 without loss. There are 3 slips and a gully for Jasprit Bumrah. There is a deep fine leg. Who fields a ball from Usman Khawaja guides there. That is the second scoring shot of Australia's first innings. It is a single, bringing Nathan McSweeney onto strike. He will have to face at least, or he will probably have to face up to 3 deliveries by Jasprit Bumrah from his third over. He is on naught of 12. In comes Bumrah, and McSweeney leaves that one, decides to leave that one late, very, very late, raises his bat, and there is no run as Rishabh Pant takes it behind the stumps. Let's have a look as Bumrah comes in again. Right arm over the wicket. And this one is to the leg side, and I can't tell you if Nathan McSweeney... No, it is buys. Oh, just excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, there have been 4 buys as Bumrah is trying a leg side bowling line to McSweeney. Final delivery of the over is another dot ball. So McSweeney remains on naught. Let's have a look at social media. There is a notification. It's Kai, who everyone who is in the Discord server for the channel knows. India all out for 180, but he remarks that India have already proven that they can defend totals below 200 in this series. Yes, and I think the thing is that the evening session with a pink ball is, or the third session with a pink ball is probably the most dangerous one for batsmen. Yeah, would India have liked to put more runs on the board? Yeah, absolutely. But they will notice the scent of blood in the water. They will smell the blood in the water with the Australian openers out for the final session of the day with the pink ball in hand, I think. As Mohammad Siraj is bowling to Usman Khawaja, and he is bowling right arm over the wicket to the left-hander Khawaja, as we are seeing that Ravindra Jadeja is out in the field as a substitute fielder because he is not in the playing 11. But don't despair, anyone who really, really likes Indian spin bowling, because Ravichandran Ashwin is in the 11. He has been given preference over Jadeja in this test match. And yeah, he did himself justice with the bat, one would say. He is one of, I think, only 3 Indian batsmen to make double figures. No, I'm lying. It's 5. It's 5 Indian batsmen. Whoever made double figures made more than 20. Everyone else made single figures. There is no score between 10 and 20 in the scorecard. Nitish Kumar Reddy making the highest score for India in the first innings. He made 42, and somehow I had it in my head that he made 42 as well in the Perth test, but he didn't. He made 41, but he was also the highest score for India in the first innings, which is, well, if you are superstitious, you can take that as a good omen. As Mohammad Siraj is now starting, well, to league runs is probably a bit harsh. He's conceded 3 so far. All 3 of them to Usman Khawaja, who moves on to 8 of 19. And Nathan McSweeney survived 1 delivery, and the second one is played out to point. The Australians go for a quick single. Point fields the ball, throws it in, hits the stumps directly. There is a hit from point. The umpires are having a look at it. I would suggest that the batsman was in. Yes, and the replays show that Khawaja has grounded his bat as it is thrown in from backward point. It hits it hits the stumps very, very low. The bells come off and the stumps light up. So 13 runs now for Australia. No loss, 6 overs bowled, and Bumrah continues. Right arm over the wicket to McSweeney, and he bowls a bit too wide, I would say. McSweeney leaves it this time on line, I think. And there is no run. Bumrah has figures of none for 5 from 3 overs thus far. There are 3 slips and I can't see anything else. There is a gully, there is a point apparently, as McSweeney squeezes one out between the slips and gully. It is fielded at third man by gully by the fielder that was stationed at gully, who ran after it, backed up by the fielder at point. And the Australians have taken a couple. So McSweeney moves on to 3 of 19. So at least he's off his duck from an Australian perspective. Bumrah catches the outside edge of Nathan McSweeney and punt dives to his right, misses it, as does Rohit Sharma on first slip, who seems to have hurt his hand in the process. Let's have a look at that again. There is a deviation, and it is just too far for punt, and Rohit misjudges the angle and is hit on the base of the thumb, trying to catch it, because Rishabh Pant got the fingertips to it, and Jasprit Bumrah can't believe that catch wasn't taken, as the Australians take a couple. Fourth delivery is defended into the offside, and there is no run, as we are seeing close-ups of Indian captain Rohit Sharma again, looking at his right hand. He was hit right there at the base of the thumb by that. Oh, there. By that ball, but seeing the replays, I'm not really sure if it would have been a catch, because Nathan McSweeney played that very, very in front of his pad, and the bat was very, very close to the pad. It was in line with the pad, but also very close to the body. The bat was very close to the body, and I'm not sure if it took the outside of the bat or the outside of the pad, because they were that far apart, probably something like that. Anyway, he plays out the over for 3 dot balls. There is no more run after the 2 couples taken off the second and third ball. Australia 17 for no loss after 7 overs. Let's have a look if anyone is with us. New instance of YouTube. So I have to put it into live chat mode again, because for some reason YouTube defaults to top 10. Anyway, Mohammad Siraj continues. He bowls right arm over the wicket to the left-hander Khawaja, which I find a bit peculiar, because over the last, probably decade now, people have been following the Ishant Sharma template of going around the wicket to left-handers, at least for right-arm bowlers, obviously. Next one by Siraj is a bit too short, and there is a lap sweep by Usman Khawaja that finds the boundary at mid-wicket for 4 runs or square leg. Let's have a look again. Yeah, that's a cross-batted shot, and it goes behind square on the leg side, but not that much. Next one, Khawaja puts his bat down very, very straight, and Mohammad Siraj, who bowls right arm over the wicket, misses the outside edge, and there is no run. As we are seeing replays again of that Bumrah delivery that was not taken. And I think in replays, that would have been out. That was an outside edge, I think. Well, the Indians will probably hope that there are echoes of Perth in that dropped catch, because famously in Perth, Virat Kohli dropped Manus Labuschagne in the slips on Nord, and Labuschagne went on to play a blistering innings of 2 of 52 deliveries. So the Indians will hope that that drop will not cost them that many. Australia, 21 for no loss with 1 delivery left in the 8th over. It is Mohammad Siraj's 4th, and Usman Khawaja is on strike. He's on 12 of 24. And let's have a look as Siraj angles one across him wide outside the off stump, and Khawaja leaves it, and there is no run. Let's have a look at social media. Hattie the Batty is with us. She's saying, "Hey Leah, hi Hattie, nice to have you." Stephen Kellogg says hi to Hattie, and Hattie says good morning to Stephen. Yeah, and we have it again. We have the matrix effect in replays. The first time this test, as Jasprit Bumrah has Nathan McSweeney all squared up, and there is no run, but there is also no appeal for LBW from that first delivery of Bumrah's 5th over. Yeah, because he hits him, he misses the bat, and he hits him, but he hits him very, very close to the thigh on his left leg. That would have gone over and down the leg side, I would think. Bumrah continues right arm over the wicket to McSweeney, and this one is on a length in the channel and swinging away from McSweeney, who leaves that one alone as well, and Rishabh Pant takes it behind the stumps. And to elaborate on the matrix thing, for some reason in this series, they have technology that allows the director to do the freeze frame and pan around 180 degrees, but like in the Matrix. But it is apparently done with AI assistance, and as you can, it is exactly as bad as you would imagine, because in the it's a slow-mo replay, and the slow-mo replay plays out until the point where the director wants to make a point. So there is fourth ball of the delivery. There is an appeal by Jasprit Bumrah for LBW against Nathan McSweeney, but it is turned down on the field, and I think that is too high. It hits him on the upper thigh. No need to review that. So back to the Matrix thing. The slow-mo replay plays out normally until the action stops, and then it suddenly turns into this AI enhanced, I will call it, this AI enhanced picture, which means that it suddenly turns a bit like it was a painting, a very, very realist painting, but a painting nonetheless. There are the usual signs of it being AI generated or enhanced, meaning the angles are, the straight lines, it's all a bit fuzzy. It turns a bit fuzzy. Then it pans around 130 degrees, or 180 degrees, sorry, 180 degrees. And then it turns into real pictures again, which is, I don't know. It feels a bit wrong because the picture resides firmly in the uncanny valley. It is relatively realistic, but it is not quite there yet, which makes it very, very, I don't know. Uncanny, as the name suggests. And the director abused that effect in Perth. Almost every replay had that effect, and this one was the first one in this test. And India have made a bowling change. Harshit Rana is in for the first time, and he bowls right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Usman Khawaja, who looks to defend it. Rishabh Pant appeals for a caught behind. It is not given on the field, and it doesn't look like India have reviewed it. And good for them, they didn't, because that was not a deviation from the bat. It was swinging or seaming, and it was seaming quite a lot. So, I can't say old wisdom, because we haven't been playing pink ball tests for that long. What was it? 10 years, I think. I think the first pink ball test ever was between Australia and New Zealand, and I think it was played in Adelaide as well. So there is ample support for the seamers during this third and final session of the day, as Rana bowls very tidily thus far. 3 balls, delivered, no runs scored. Khawaja is on strike. He's on 12 of 28. Australia 21 without loss, trailing by 159. Yeah, three more deliveries left in the over as Rana continues right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Khawaja, who defends that one into the leg side, and there is again no run. Looking at the YouTube chat, Stephen Kalk says more coffee, more better. Yes, I couldn't agree more. But I've had a bit of coffee already. I've been up since 5. So yeah. No, but I will have a nice cup of tea later after stumps here. As Rana continues, right arm around the wicket, a bit shorter, and this is clipped into the leg side by Khawaja, and Australia take a single as Jadeja, who is on as a substitute fielder, fields it. A single of the penultimate delivery of Rana's first over. Australia 22 for no loss. $158 now the deficit for Australia as Rana comes in for his final delivery, and he changes to over the wicket for the right-handed McSweeney, and this one is very close to the stumps. It goes over the top of off as McSweeney probably luckily let's put it that way. McSweeney is very lucky leaving that because that didn't miss the top of off stump by a lot. It wasn't as close as something that would be described as a coat of paint, but it wasn't that far off. So 10 overs bowled, Australia 22 without loss, and Jasprit Bumrah, India's vice captain, continues. He has played 11 matches in 2024. He has taken 49 wickets and he has a sub 16 average. Very, very tidy figures for Jasprit Bumrah. Despite India being whitewashed for the first time in a home series of 3 or more tests earlier in the year against New Zealand, of all teams. First delivery is a bye by a Bumrah as Rishabh Pant fails to take it behind the stumps, and that brings McSweeney back onto strike, who clips one out to deep backward square leg, where it is fielded by Jadeja, who is on for I don't know who. But he is not in the playing 11. He is a substitute fielder, and yeah, I mean, you can probably select worse specialist fielders than Ravindra Jadeja, as Bumrah continues around the wicket to the left-handed Khawaja. This one is on the shorter side of a good length. Outside Khawaja's off stump, and he leaves that one alone. There is no run. Khawaja on 13 of 32. Australia 24 without loss. Halfway through the 11th over, Khawaja has played 8 day-night tests. He averages 40.61 in them and has made 100. Next one, there is a loud appeal for LBW as Khawaja seems to clip one into the leg side towards square leg. The on-field umpire has not given it, and the Indians seem a bit unsure about if Khawaja has hit that. And he probably did. And the interesting thing is that Rohit Sharma is wiping the sweat from his brow, but he does it in a way that could be misconstrued as reviewing that, because he did this. Very, very, very confusing. But it's no review. Next one is a dot ball, as we are seeing KL Rahul in conversation with Virat Kohli in the slips. Now we are seeing punt again, and this one is it, as Jasprit Bumrah makes the Indian breakthrough. He bowls right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Khawaja, who gets the shoulder of the bat on that one, and he is taken in the slips by Captain Rohit Sharma. I think it's Rohit Sharma. Let's have a look at that. Yes, it is Rohit at first slip who clings onto one, and the vice-captain and the captain have the breakthrough that the Indians were surely looking for. Usman Khawaja has to go for 13 of 35. He's out-caught Rohit, bowled Bumrah. And Australia are 24 for 1 wicket. That's the breakthrough the Indians needed. They could only make 180 all out in their first innings, which is probably less than which is less than they wanted, because they won the toss, elected to bat. As we are seeing advertisements for Discovery online, and one of their signature series they try to push is Meet the Rees-Moggs, which no one wants to meet the Rees-Moggs, as Manus Labuschagne is out in the middle at number 3 for Australia. But he is at the non-strikers end, and Nathan McSweeney will have to deal with Harshit Rana for the time being. Harshit Rana in his second test did pretty well in Perth, one would think, as he bowls right arm over the wicket to the right-handed McSweeney, and he starts his second over with 2 dot balls. Hits McSweeney just above the hip on the second delivery. What was that on the Ultimate Fighter? I see a few scars and battle wounds. Good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look for Napoleon Blown Apart on this here YouTube. I can promise you a very, very good time. It's a channel of a commentator that of someone that really likes mixed martial arts, but you do not have to like mixed martial arts to enjoy his videos. It's for me. I don't care about. I don't care. I don't really care about mixed martial arts. But it's like with pro wrestling. I like the documentaries about pro wrestling. I don't like watching WWE. But the documentaries I think are fascinating. As Rana continues to strangle the Australian batsman for dot balls in a row now. As we are seeing, I think that's is that Nitish Rana doing some weird stretching with crossed legs? No, it can't be. Yeah, no. Look for no, it's not. And this one is short from Rana, and McSweeney tries to get a bat on that one, misses it though by a wide margin, and punt stops it somehow, not by taking it with his gloves. He gets the tips of the fingers to it. It drops down, and punt falls down and stops the ball running away with his body. Final delivery of Nitish Rana's second over. In he comes McSweeney in his sights, right arm over the wicket, and this one is left alone, bat held high by McSweeney, and there is no run. Another maiden for India. 12 overs bowled, Australia 24 for 1. So Napoleon blown apart. For documentaries about MMA, it's amazing because he has a way with words, and he's very, very funny. Because that, just an example, there is one instance where some promoter drops into the arena via parachute, and he says, and his opponents arrived in a far more pedestrian fashion, by foot or by walking, which I find very, very funny. I don't know about you, but I quite like that. So, Marnus Labuschagne on strike for the first time in this test, and he defends one that Bumrah bowls right arm over the wicket onto the stumps, and there is no run. Let's see if Marnus Labuschagne can annoy the Indian bowling attack so much that Mohammad Siraj or someone else will offer him the chance to ride to the hospital in the back of one of those spiffy ambulances again, as he did in Perth in the second innings. Second delivery is left alone by Labuschagne in that typical exaggerated Labuschagne style, and there is no run. It was quite short and a bit too wide from a Bumrah, who is bowling right arm over the wicket, to Labuschagne, who makes interesting hand gestures. Looks like he looks like he is miming masturbation out on the pitch right about now. And the Indians are delighted because Labuschagne is clearly clearly very, very unsure, looks quite unsure of himself. Everyone's laughing at him, probably because he's a bit of a dumbass as well. He is screaming again. Bumrah, right arm over the wicket, and Labuschagne looks to defend it, and that one misses the bat by a cat's whisker. Yeah, there is not much between bat and ball, and everyone is quite excited on the Indian side. Jasprit Bumrah kind of clowning Labuschagne now, egging him on a bit. In he comes again, and this one is clipped or guided, glanced towards fine leg by Labuschagne, and it finds the boundary. Or has it been glanced by Labuschagne, or is that given as byes? It's given as byes. He didn't get bat onto that one. It looked like he did, but given the fact that he didn't get bat on it, there is considerable movement through the air and off the seam for Jasprit Bumrah in this first innings of the Australians, second of the match. Probably a bit concerning for the Australian batsman, who will have to face another, I think, another 90 minutes, because they will surely take the additional half hour, given the fact that the over rate by the Australians hasn't been great. Let's have a look. Stephen Kalk, Napoleon Blown Apart is an explosive weapon featured in the World of Assassination trilogy. World of Assassination trilogy? I don't know that one. But you write Napoleon Blown Apart with an E at the end, and I think the YouTube channel omits that final E. So, it's you should know it. It's the one with the Dennis Seaver fan club and the Punani jokes. That's the one, Stephen. Seasons in the Punani. Nitish Rana is back for his third over, and the first one is deposited towards the boundary by Nathan McSweeney for 4 runs. And Australia move on to 32 for 1 after 13.2 overs. I think there is a drinks break coming our way after this over, as Rana continues right arm over the wicket to the right-handed McSweeney on a length outside the off stump, and McSweeney leaves it, and there is no run again for ... this over. And Rana has been hitting around 141 kilometers consistently thus far. Not too bad. In he comes again. Right arm over the wicket, and this one is a bit shorter. It is on the line of off stump, and McSweeney sways back, ducks under it, or sways away from it, but he doesn't get his bat out of the way, and he is very, very lucky that that one doesn't catch a top edge. He keeps the bat very, very horizontal during the swaying, which seems a bit risky in that kind of situation, and probably something he doesn't want to do later in the match when there might be some unsteady bounce. Next one is squeezed out into the offside. There is no run, and we are seeing the stupid matrix animations again. Final delivery of Nitish Rana's third over. He has figures of none for 5 thus far from 2.5 overs. Final delivery, right arm over the wicket. This one is on a length, but it is wider outside the off stump, and McSweeney does not have to play at that, and he doesn't. And that is that. 14 overs bowled. Australia 32 for 1. Let's have a look at social media. Stephen Kirk gives us the thumbs up. Yes, exactly. That is the Dennis Seaver fan club. Yeah, he's that YouTube channel, that whole YouTube channel is amazing. Because he really finds the funny stuff about all that stuff about yeah, I mean, about professional fisting, as he likes to call it. Anyway, Mohammad Siraj is back, and he bowls right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Labuschagne. And this one is given as 4 byes. Right-handed Labuschagne, sorry. But again, it is going down the leg side. Almost the same as the Bumrah delivery earlier during the session. There is quite some movement with the pink ball for the seamers in these conditions, one would think, as the Australians... Oh no, it was McSweeney. I thought, why is Labuschagne... Yeah, no. It was McSweeney. Sorry, everyone. Labuschagne is on strike now. But anyway, he is also right hand. I'm sorry. I've been doing this for quite some time today. Please forgive me for any gaffes. Yeah, Labuschagne leaves 2 deliveries. And there is no run. There are no runs. Australia 36 for 1. 14.3 overs bowled as Siraj continues over the wicket, and Labuschagne leaves one again, and this one is very, very close. It is close both to his thigh as it is to the top of off stump behind that thigh. There was just fractions of a millimeter between Labuschagne surviving and him being out either LBW or bowled, as he clips one out into the leg side, but there is no run. Australia remain on 36-1. One more delivery left in Mohamed Siraj's fifth over. He has figures of none for 8 thus far. Labuschagne is on 0 of 11. He is taking guard. He is probably 15 centimeters out of his crease, taking guard. Final delivery of the over is again no run, and that means Australia remain on 36 without loss. And we are looking at social media. Hattie says, more coffee definitely needed after listening to GC Radio. That's, of course, Gorilla Cricket. Everyone listening to this one who doesn't know, go check them out, Gorilla Cricket. They are on YouTube as well, and they are covering the England versus New Zealand series at the moment. And because they are covering the England-New Zealand series, that's basically the reason why I'm covering the India-Australia series, because White Line Wireless doesn't do it as well because it's a home series for them and it's on free-to-air TV in Australia, so they don't see the need for that. But I will have some company for tomorrow. I think Jessica will be with us for tomorrow, and there will also be History of Everything, who you can follow on social media, which you should. It's on the screen right now. But back to Hattie, who says, still laughing at Manos loose bass change. The amazing I'm not hitting that one displays. Yeah, loose bass change. I would never suggest going onto Reddit, but the nicknames for Manos Labuschagne that Reddit Twitter has invented, that's kind of amazing. It's a racist shithole, because there's basically 3 nationalities on there. There's English, Australian, and Indian. All the Australians are also were on the Donald, which was the fan subreddit for Donald Trump. The English were all on the Brexit subreddit, and the Indians were all on something called Bakchodi, which is Indian right-wing or Indian nationalism, but in a very racist right-wing way. So Harshit Rana is continuing for his 4th over, and Nathan McSweeney manages a single of the second delivery of the over, bringing up his highest score in Test cricket thus far. He is 11 of 45, and Manos Labuschagne plays out the following 2 balls for dots. So Australia are currently 37 for 1. They trail by 143. Rana with figures of none for 6. In he comes again, and this one is right arm over the wicket. It is on a length, but on the fullish end of on a length, and it is wide outside the off stump, and Manos Labuschagne leaves that. Labuschagne averages 80.43 in Adelaide day-night tests. He has played 5 of them so far, and he has the highest average so far. In second place is Travis Head, and third is David Warner, who has played the most day-night tests in Adelaide, as Labuschagne plays out the final delivery of Harshit Rana's fourth over towards cover, and there is no run. Australia remain on 37 for 1. Let's have a look at social media. Nothing on Blue Sky, and no, we are up to date on YouTube chat. If you want to get in touch with the stream, you can always use the top Blue Sky handle. That's me. You should also follow the other ones that are displayed on the screen. They are people that will come in and support me for the rest of the test. They're really good. They're really good people and worth a follow. Obviously. In comes Mohammad Siraj to Nathan McSweeney, and the first 2 deliveries are played out for dot balls by McSweeney. The second one has him. Well, I think it almost looks like Siraj has McSweeney's number here. He's all squared up there, but he manages to defend it with a very high bat. There is no run. Third one is defended back into the pitch, and Siraj fields it. Virat Kohli is very animatedly talking to Captain Rohit Sharma. Kohli is now running back to his fielding position towards the bowler and directing the field. Virat now talking to Siraj. It's kind of interesting. Okay, here we go. 3 slips, gully, point, square leg, and McSweeney squeezes out a single between the slips and between gully and point. 1 run, Australia 38 for 1. Labuschagne is back on strike, or Labuschagne, as he himself pronounces it, but he says he's fine with Labuschagne because apparently no one in Australia can pronounce Labuschagne. First delivery of the 6th over from Siraj that Labuschagne faces is sneaking through the gate, but it is relatively short, so there is neither a chance of LBW nor taking off the bails, and there is no run. Australia remain on 38 for 1. Next one is driven out very squarely to point by Labuschagne, and that is a drinks break, and I will be back with you after that one. And we are back. As Stephen Kelk says, time for one more coffee. Yes, absolutely. And Harshit Rana continues as McSweeney plays one behind square on the offside, where it is stopped by Kale Rahul at third slip. I'm sorry. An attempted cut shot that is stopped by third slip. There is no run. Australia remain on 38 for 1. In comes Harshit Rana again. And this one is fuller outside the off stump. And there is prodigious swing after it pitches for Rana. It is stopped behind the wicket, but there is something there for the pace bowlers in this third session of the first day. Another dot ball. There seems to be a bit of a problem with the floodlights at the Adelaide Oval. They have gone out for a bit. Don't really know what's going on there. Everyone is a bit confused, but now they are back on again. Seems to be a minor technical difficulty. Floodlights are back on after they just cut out for a moment. Everyone was the Indians were coming together. What's going on? But just as the conversation started, the floodlights came back on. Bit of confusion all around. Rana wider outside the off stump, and again very notable movement after the ball pitches. Again, moving away from McSweeney. If that had been a bit fuller, a bit more on the stumps, it might have put McSweeney in a bit of trouble. As Rana comes in for the fourth delivery, and this one is more in line with off stump. McSweeney puts down his bat very straight, and it misses the outside edge by just a fraction of a millimeter. Rana is almost elated, or is very elated in his follow-through, but then realizes that he has actually beaten McSweeney's outside edge. And again, the lights are off. The floodlights have failed for a second time in the over. Just as Harshit Rana was in his run-up for the fifth delivery of the test of the over, we are now seeing Jasprit Bumrah in conversation with the umpire, and he seems a bit animated. I can only speculate that he is not very satisfied with the situation, because it kind of disrupts the rhythm of the bowlers if the lights continue to fail, and this time it seems to be a bit bigger problem because during the first outage, it was fixed relatively shortly. This time it takes a bit more time. They are back on now. I don't really know what's going on there. Let's have a look if there is anything on Cricinfo, if they know any more. No, they just say, and the lights are gone again. People turning on their phone torches in the crowd. Yes, they did. Yeah. Fifth delivery of Harshit Rana's fifth over is again left by McSweeney, and there is no run. Final delivery coming up now, as Rana is handed the ball and he is moving back to his mark. McSweeney is taking strike. There are 3 slips, a gully, a point, and in comes Rana, and this one is defended into the offside by McSweeney, where it is fielded by the bowler in his follow-through, and there is no run. Australia remain on 38 for 1. And looking at YouTube chat, Stephen Kelk says, we all know that a certain M. Jazz has very elaborate ways of describing Mr. Lou's bus change. Yes, I think he called him a knob in the Guerrilla Cricket Discord server. And we are currently seeing Ravichandran Ashwin in a close-up, but it doesn't mean that he is going on to bowl just yet. He is fielding at backward square leg as Mohammad Siraj continues as Ashwin is fielding that ball at backward square leg, and Mr. Lou's bus change, the knobhead, has run a couple. 40 up for Australia now, 40 for 1. as Lou's bus change is asking for a bit of time to retake his guard. I don't know why. In comes Siraj, right arm over the wicket, outside the off stump, and Labuschagne leaves that one as well. He is on 2 of 20. So 30 more balls for him to face to equal his blistering performance in the first innings of Australia at Perth. Famously made 2 of 52 after being dropped on naught by Kohli in the slips. And this one is clipped off his toes and it runs away to the boundary for 4 runs down at deep fine leg. Was a pretty good full delivery from Mohammad Siraj, aimed at the stumps, but Labuschagne played that very well. Next one is again shorter by Siraj outside the off stump, and Labuschagne leaves that 44 for 1. Yeah. So Labuschagne has made 6 runs this innings, which is more than he made in the whole Perth test. I think he made 2 in the first innings, and I think he was out LBW for 3 to Bumrah in the second innings. 3 runs of the penultimate delivery of Mohammad Zirar's 7th over to Labuschagne, and that means that Nathan McSweeney is on strike for the final delivery of the over. There have been a couple of threes in this test so far. Not as many as in Perth, though. Final delivery is left alone by McSweeney, and Australia are 47 for 1. Let's have a look at a bit of chat. Hattie the Batty says, never been on Reddit, but needed more nicknames. Manbus Lasagna Man and Manu Lampshade are a couple I like. Yeah, exactly. There's also there is a glossary on our cricket, and it defines a run out as 2 Pakistani batsmen in a sprint race to the same crease, something like that. Which is it's a bit mean, but yeah, we have all seen that amazing 20-minute supercut of the best of Inzamam ul Haq runouts. And I mean, it's a supercut of his best runouts, and it is still 20 minutes long. The man was an artist, if nothing else. Nitish Kumar Reddy is on for the first time. He is facing Labuschagne, and he also gets a lot of movement after pitching the ball. Reddy is a kind of an oddity to me, because he has the run up of a very, very fast bowler, and everything that comes out of his hand is then just slightly faster than military medium, which is kind of amazing. But I don't think he has yet made it work for him, because I think you can work with it. You can try to goad the batsman into mistiming one, going through his shot too fast or too quickly. In he comes again, and this time he bowls very wide of the off stump, and it goes through to the slips. But again, there is a lot of movement for the Indian seamers here. But so far, they have not been able to use it to their advantage, the excessive movement that we are seeing now, as Manus cuts one to backward point, where it is fielded by Shubman Gill, and there is no run. The only Australian wicket to fall so far was Usman Khawaja, who got an outside edge to a relatively straight one. Nothing in the way of movement that we are seeing currently in this in the later stages of this third session of the day, as Labuschagne can't take any runs of the fifth delivery of Nitish Kumar Reddy's first over. Final ball to come in this over. 19.5 overs bowled so far in the session. So this is the final delivery of the 20th. Let's see if Nitish Kumar Reddy can do something here. And Labuschagne leaves one alone again, and there is no run. So 20 overs bowled, 47 for 1. Australia can be, or will probably be, relatively satisfied with how that session has gone for them thus far. The only wicket to fall was Usman Khawaja. And I mean, yeah, it's the business of openers to once in a while fail. It's basically the danger of the job, as Mohammad Siraj is coming back into the attack to Nathan McSweeney, who is on his highest test score thus far, 12 not out. He has faced 56 deliveries for his 12. So a strike rate of a shade over 50. And the first one is bowled on a length outside the off stump, and McSweeney leaves that one alone, and there is no run. The partnership is 23 of 55, as we are seeing the field. There are now 2 slips in for Mohammad Siraj, as McSweeney clips one into the leg side. It is fielded at mid wicket by Nitish Kumar Reddy, and there is no run. We are seeing the pitch map of the Indian bowlers. Of 122 deliveries, only 4 would have gone on to hit the stumps thus far in the innings. In comes Siraj again, bowls onto the stumps, and this is defended by McSweeney in front of his pads, and there is no run. Halfway through his 8th over, Australia remain on 47 for 1. Virat Kohli again in conversation with the bowler. You wouldn't guess he's not the captain anymore, judging by the pictures, as McSweeney cuts one, and this one finds the boundary behind point on the offside. 4 runs for Australia. 16 of 64, Nathan McSweeney. Excuse me. 16 of 60 for Nathan McSweeney. In comes Siraj again. This one is shorter. It is so short that McSweeney ducks, but it is also so wide that it looks very, very comical. That McSweeney ducks to a ball that is probably 2 meters away from his noggin. punt takes it behind the stumps, and there is no run. 51 for 1. McSweeney brought up Australia's 50 with that boundary 2 balls ago. And the final delivery of Mohammad Siraj's 8th over is played out for a dot by McSweeney, and Australia are currently there we go. 51 for 1, trailing by 129 runs. And yeah, one would say Australia are on top here currently, because India were, well, no, not really. The wickets of the Indians really started to tumble when Rahul fell, when they were on 69. As Reddy is back, and he is greeted by a clip for 4 by Labuschagne. Australia 55 for 1. Next delivery is left alone by Labuschagne, and there is no run, as we are seeing some wickets from the Indian first innings. So, Australia trailing by 125 runs now. India lost 6 wickets for around 90 runs in the first innings, or around 100 runs. You can't really call that a collapse, can you? Because it's not even by normal standards, because I know that India do have a very high Indian standard for collapses. They hold the record of losing their last 6 wickets for 0 runs. That was during the last South African tour. I commentated that live. And I mean, yeah, that's quite impressive. But in that case, it didn't even mean that India lost the match, because they won it. It's a bit like what Alex Bowden says in the first series of the Ridiculous Ashes podcast, the one that talks about the 1997 Ashes, because England won the last of the tests to make it 3-2. And England collapsed in both innings of that match, but they won it. So we have slips, backward point, cover, mid-on, mid-off, and a very deep square leg. As Reddy continues his over, there is only one scoring shot of that over, and that is the first one, the first delivery that went for 4 runs. Let's have a look if anything is happening. No, I think we're up to date on the chat. Is there anything over on Blue Sky? No, there. Yeah, Kai is saying last ball, Bumrah with the pink ball, last ball of the spell, brings the breakthrough. Yeah, and he also points out very correctly that we shouldn't have problems with bad light during a day-night test. Yeah, it's a bit like I think it was the 2009 Ashes. I think I remember that from one of my highlight DVDs, where the commentators are saying that the captains had a chat and had a gentleman's agreement that play could continue under the lights if the natural light got too bad. So the captains talked about it and agreed that play should continue under the floodlights. And then, right after that, the commentators remarked that there were no floodlights at the ground, which is kind of weird. Why have a discussion about playing under the lights if there are no lights? Yeah. Siraj is bowling his 9th over, and he can keep it clean thus far. 3 dot balls. Third one is a cut shot by McSweeney that is again stopped at backward point. Bumrah now in a conversation with Mohammad Siraj. And in he comes again. Right arm over the wicket. And this one is cut again and stopped again by backward point. That is Yashasvi Jaiswal out there. And that is another dot ball. So Australia remain on 55 for 1 in the 23rd over. And we have 2 slips, backward point, mid on, mid off, and there is someone out in the leg side, quite close to the boundary at backward square leg, who I would assume is pulling sweeper duties. I don't know if it is Jadeja, who has been on the field for India quite a bit in this first Australian innings. Siraj, final delivery of his 9th over, clipped off his toes by McSweeney, and mid-on is running. After that, it is Jasprit Bumrah who runs it down and throws the ball back towards the, I think it's the non-strikers end in this case. And the Australians have run 3. So at the end of the 23rd over, Australia are 58 for 1. Let's have a look. What's going on on the social media? Hattie the Batty says, found Inzamam's video to watch later. In international cricket, Ponting beats him by 48 runouts to 46, but his grand total of 92 is mega. Yes. Yeah. I think the Inzamam runout, best of Inzamam runouts, is longer than Ponting's best of runouts would be, because a lot of the Inzamam runouts consist of him selling his betting partner down the river. It's the best of Inzamam runouts. It's not just Inzamam being run out, but it's also Inzamam clearly being at fault for his partner being run out. So I think Ponting was a far more judicious runner. He was no who was it? Batsman, Australia. Was it Graham Yallop or was it Graham Wood? One of the two. Who in the late I think it's the last Ashes series in Australia in the 70s. 6 tests, and I think it's Yallop. And Yallop opened the batting for Australia, and in each of the 6 tests, either Yallop or his batting partner was run out. So he was a terrible runner between the wickets. 6 tests, and he is involved in 6 runouts, at least one in each test. Or he is involved in at least 6 runouts and at least one in each test. So and Nitish Kumar Reddy is continuing for his 3rd over. He is at backward point. There is a backward point. There are slips, short cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, and fine leg for him. The first 4 deliveries are played out for dots by McSweeney, and Bumrah is in conversation with him. In he comes again, right arm over the wicket, and this one is driven towards extra cover by McSweeney, and he finds the boundary, and there is 4 runs in that one for Australia. So they bring up their 60, 62 for 1 now. And the Indians will want to make probably at least 2 or 3 more breakthroughs this evening. They have gotten a lot of movement with the seamers. In comes Reddy again, and this one is pulled. And can he find the boundary again? Yes, he does. This time it is at a long on. 4 runs again. Australia 66 for 1. 24 overs have been bowled in this innings thus far. And are we having drinks? No, doesn't look like it. We are 5 minutes from the scheduled close of play. And there is again that matrix shot that the director for the Perth test liked a little bit too much. They have dialed it down considerably for this Adelaide test, which I'm very, very thankful for, because it looks horrible. It looks horrible. Siraj to continue. He has Labuschagne in his sights, and he decides to bounce him, and Labuschagne ducks under that, and there is no run. 66 for 1 Australia. Labuschagne is on 13 of 36 and McSweeney on 27 of 74. This is probably the innings that the Australian selectors expected of McSweeney. And he has looked good so far in this innings, much better than he looked during the Perth Test, where he made 10 runs in total. As sorry, excuse me. Mohamed Siraj continues bowling to Labuschagne, who cuts one, which is stopped, not very elegantly, by Ashwin at backward point. Labuschagne is eager to take the run, as Ashwin kind of misfields it at backward point, throws it back towards the stumps, misses them, but is backed up, and there could have been a run out there. I think that is, I don't know. It's showing some nerves from Labuschagne, who has not had the best of years. His average for the calendar year is, I think, somewhere below 25 with the bat. So he is having a bit of a rough time, not only by his standards, and he is annoying Mohamed Siraj again, as he is complaining about someone running around with the beginning of a beer snake behind the side screen, and Siraj throws the ball at the stumps. He is annoyed. He's giving him some lip, and yeah, that's an absolute idiot. Probably the stereotypical. He looks like the stereotypical drunk bogan out there. Next delivery is cut by Manus Labuschagne for 4 runs, and that brings up the 70 for Australia. 70 for 1. And that probably means they are kind of on top here, because the Indians lost their second wicket when they were on 69. Mohamed Siraj decides to bowl Manus Labuschagne a bouncer as kind of a parting gift for his 10th over. There is no run. Let's have a look at social media. Stephen Kirk says, I've been distracted by other things. Has Manus scored a run? Yes, he has. He has scored 17. He's on 17 currently. He has faced 41 deliveries for those 17 runs. Australia trail by 110 currently after 25 overs have been bowled in their first innings. They are 70 for 1. Nathan McSweeney is now on strike again. He is on his highest score in Test so far, 27, as Harshit Rana continues. I always want to say Nitish Rana, but that's another dude. And it's doubly unfortunate because there is another Nitish in this side. It's Nitish Kumar Reddy and Harshit Rana. First delivery of his sixth over is played out for a dot by Nathan McSweeney. In comes Harshit Rana again, right arm over the wicket, and this one escapes. I think it's Shubman Gill who is fielding at point. And there is a boundary for Nathan McSweeney. Let's have a look again. There is a cut shot. And Gill at point bends or kneels to, takes a knee to, gets down on one knee to stop it. Very textbook. But is surprised by the bounce. Misses it, and it is 4 runs. Next one is again cut by McSweeney, but this time Gill makes no mistakes, stops it, and there is no run. We are seeing replays. I don't know how he let that through. It got through his hands, between his legs, tunneled him, and went away to the boundary for 4 runs. That first one. Rana again, this time a bit too much outside the off stump, one would think, and there is no run as McSweeney leaves that alone. The Australians trail by 106 runs. 2 more deliveries to go, and the partnership has gone on to 50 with that boundary at deep point by McSweeney, who also brought up his 31 from 78 currently. Now 31 from 79 as he leaves another wide one from Harshit Rana alone. 1 more delivery to come in the over. Australia currently 74 for 1. $50 runs of 89 deliveries, the partnership currently between McSweeney and Labuschagne. Final delivery of Rana's 6th over, 2 slips, a point, and this one is left alone again by McSweeney because it is again outside the off stump. It is on the shortish end of a good length. And let's have a look at social media. There is someone there are new messages in the chat. Manus does have a nice looking wife and child. And Stephen Kelk says, then all is forgiven. Yeah. But apparently Manus is some kind of Jesus freak. Because I think his parents moved over to Australia from South Africa because with the fall of apartheid, they were afraid that their personal brand of Christianity would be persecuted, which I find really rather concerning. If you escape from a country that is ending racial discrimination, and you are therefore afraid that your personal faith might come under scrutiny, and you want to escape that, that's kind of concerning. And apparently Manus is very, very on board with the religious beliefs of his parents. Anyway, he has to face Jasprit Bumrah, who has now taken 50 wickets in the calendar year in 11 matches at an average of 15.14, which is pretty good, pretty handy numbers. He has figures of 1 for 10 thus far, and he is bowling to Labuschagne, and he is keeping it relatively short, which I don't know if I like. I would probably say no, because it feels a bit like in the Perth test when the Aussies kept it too short. Very, very defensive bowling from the Aussies in that Perth test. And he makes it easy for the Australian batsman to leave on length alone. Which is definitely not what you want to see from your bowling attack. Next one is a lot fuller, and again, this one Manos has to play at. So yeah, I think what the Indians need to do here is they need to bowl fuller, pitching it up, more on the stumps. They need to create chances here. 5 dot balls thus far in the over. And the Australians remain on 74 for 1. Final delivery of Jasprit Bumrah's 8th over. And this one is defended back to the bowler by Manos Labuschagne, because this time Bumrah was aiming at the stumps. It's a maiden. 27 overs bowled. Australia 74 for 1. Let's have a look at YouTube. Stephen Kelk. Yeah, Bumrah is pretty good. You could say that. Yeah, absolutely. Might make the Brighton and Hove third team if he raises his game a bit. Oh, yeah, that's kind of high praise, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I would really like to see Bumrah in a after an extended leave, perhaps doing something like Jofra Archer did. Wasn't it Archer who, after injury, found his way back by playing second 11 teams. As Harshit Rana is back, and there is a shout. It is not given out on the field, and the decision has been reviewed. It is a decision for LBW, and it seems to be pitching in line. There seems to be no bat involved. It is pitching in line, hitting in line, and it is missing the wickets. So India have burned a second review in this first Australian innings. It is a dot ball, but India have been relatively careless with their reviews. It was a bit of a speculative shout, one would have to say, because I think it is very, very clear, even on live pictures, that it impacted him between middle and leg. and it was a delivery from a right arm bowler bowling over the wicket to a right hand batsman. So yeah, probably more of a hopeful review than anything else. Stephen has to go. Thanks for the coverage. Yeah, bye, Stephen. Very, very good to have you here. If you want, I'll be there tomorrow as well. Well, thank you. And again, everyone, if you are watching and like it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Yes, as Harshit Rana is following up that failed review with 2 more dot balls, as we are seeing the Australian changing rooms, and there is Steve Smith padded up, sitting out in there. As Rana aborts his run up. I don't know why exactly. I was just looking at a live ticker, but they don't know why. He looked a bit. I don't know what was happening, but he pulled out at the very, very last moment, and he looked very, very round arm when he pulled out. Again, he pulls out. The field is reset a bit. Is there something in the field setting he doesn't like? I couldn't tell you, as Max Sweeney clips one towards deep backward square leg, and there is a single. Manos Labuschagne is back on strike. 50,186 the official attendance for this day of the first day of the second match. Australia 75 for 1 in pursuit of India's 180 all out in the first innings. Labuschagne trying a very, very straight drive, but Rana beats his edge. And again, there is movement for the Indian seamers, as Labuschagne tries to drive him very, very straight, misses it by a fraction of a millimeter. Rana again is up in an appeal, and then realizes, oh no, you have beaten him again, and the Indian fielders can't believe it. Rana again. This time it is clipped into the leg side behind square, and there is a single. So Labuschagne on 17 of 49. Australia 76 for 1, and I will have to take a short break. I'm sorry, but I've been at this for quite some time now, and I need a little comfort break. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, we are back. That one has to go. Yeah. So, Jasprit Bumrah with his 9th over. There was a single taken off the second delivery. So, McSweeney is back on strike. And Bumrah beats his outside edge on the third delivery. There is no run. He beats it by a considerable margin. Of the fourth delivery. And the broadcast informs me that this is the fourth time that over 50,000 have attended a day's play at Adelaide. So, yeah, that's good. In it. It is currently 9:48 p.m. at Adelaide. I think there is 12 more minutes to go before this day comes to a close. And yeah, as things stand right now, with Australia 77 for 1 after 29 overs, after India had been bowled out inside of 2 sessions for 180, you would have to say it's probably Australia's day thus far. The top order has not collapsed as it did 2 times in the Perth test. So that's something positive to look at for the Australian players and fans, of course. And we will have Australians on the coverage probably, or we should have Australians on the coverage over the weekend. There is Jazz and there is History of Everything who have said that they would join the call for Adelaide, as Harshit Rana. This time I didn't say Nitish Rana. I'm very proud of myself. Harshit Rana continues with his 8th over. First one is a dot ball to Labuschagne. It's a bouncer. And in he comes again. Second delivery. There are 3 slips. And again, short. And Labuschagne is unsure if he should uppercut or pull it or hook it. He can't decide, doesn't get a bat onto it, and there is no run. And my feed has frozen a bit. Let's see if reloading the tab helps it. Oh, come on. What? I'm having a few problems here. I'm sorry. A few technical problems. Let's have a look. Reload that again. No, go away. My feed is dead. There it is again. Okay. Here we go. You didn't miss that much. There was a single. So McSweeney is on strike and he hooks one. And he hooks one to the boundary behind square on the leg side. And that is 4 runs as the Indian fielder out in the deep almost gets a hand to it. Who's that? It's Bumrah at very deep fine leg. Not the best looking shot by McSweeney, who almost mistimes it. Rana for his last delivery. This one is a short-armed jab out into the offside where it evades Jaiswal at backward point. And the Australians have taken a couple as they move on to 84 for 1. They trail by a mere 96 runs as people are out there in the middle bringing new gloves to Manos Labuschagne. 7 runs from the 30th over as Australia move on to 84 for 1. Nathan McSweeney on 38 and Manos Labuschagne on 19. Bumrah to continue. With, I think, around around 6 minutes to go. And this might actually be the final over of the day, depending on how long Bumrah takes with his over. First one is defended back towards the bowler by Labuschagne, and there is no run. It's also a no ball, as the umpire signals that Bumrah has overstepped, marginally overstepped. So, yeah, that won't help the Indians get another over in. That no ball. In he comes again. This one is driven, but driven straight to point where it is fielded by Mohammad Siraj. And there is no run. 85 for 1, the Australian score. Labuschagne on 19, Nathan McSweeney on 38. Bumrah with figures of 1 for 12 from 9.1 overs. In he comes again, right arm over the wicket, and there is an appeal for LBW as Manos Labuschagne looks to defend in line with the stumps, but he seems to be hit amidships, and no one is bothering reviewing that because the Indians have already burned 2 of their 3 reviews, as we are seeing replays, and this one is probably too high. Yeah, that is too high. Next delivery defended back into the pitch by Manos Labuschagne, and there is again no run. Australia remain on 85 for 1. The Indians really, really need another breakthrough. They had Khawaja relatively cheaply. He had to go for 13. But no luck after that for the Indian bowlers, despite generating prodigious movement both through the air and off the seam in the evening session, as is often the case during pink ball tests. But Manos Labuschagne has proven too good for this Indian attack thus far. In comes Bumrah again, defended into the offside again, and there is no run. Yeah. Well, it is. Is it the final over? Final delivery of Jasprit Bumrah's 10th over is left alone by Manos Labuschagne, and there is no run. Australia 85 for 1. So, very, very close to the end of play for the day. I think the Indians will get another or one more over in. Thus far, we have only seen seam, but for the final over of the day, it is Ravichandran Ashwin who made 22 with the bat in India's first innings. Which does not sound like that much, but in the context of the Indian innings that ended on 180 all out, it was probably not that bad. There is a short leg in place for Ashwin. I think it is Jaiswal who fields the first delivery that McSweeney faces. Ashwin in again, and again played into the leg side, this time forward of short leg, and it is fielded by mid-wicket. There is no run again. Australia 85 for 1. Here we go again. Ashwin right arm over the wicket, and there is an attempt at a leg glance by McSweeney. Rishabh Pant doing very, very well to take that one down the leg side, as McSweeney does not get a bat on it. Fourth one defended down the pitch. It is fielded by Virat Kohli, and there is again no run. So 2 more deliveries probably left in the day's play, because the clock has ticked over. It is past 10 p.m. In Adelaide local time. So 2 more deliveries left. Yes, I can confirm it is Jaiswal at short leg. Here we go again. And again, down the leg side, McSweeney tries to glance it towards fine leg. Gets something onto it. Rishabh Pant can't make a catch, and it is fielded by a leg slip though. So there is no run again for the Australian. Final delivery of the day, one would think. McSweeney to face it. he is on 38 of 95, his highest score in Test cricket. In comes Ashwin. There is kind of an appeal for caught behind down the leg side by Rishabh Pant. But looks like that is it. It is not given out on the field. The Indians are... What are they doing? There is another over. Well, there was a maiden by Ravichandran Ashwin. The clock has ticked over to 10 p.m. But apparently we are getting another one. This one bowled by Jasprit Bumrah, his 11th. He is coming in right arm over the wicket to Labuschagne, who defends one out to mid-on, and there is no run. Australia 85 for 1. And Crick Info informs me that they have added 3 more minutes due to the earlier floodlight failures. So yeah, that should mean this Jasprit Bumrah over is the last one of the day. Let's have a look. Bumrah, right arm over the wicket, defended, this time into the offside. It is fielded by point or cover, and there is no run, either forward point or extra cover. It's Siraj that is out there in the offside, and he is moving around quite a lot. Means a second dot ball in the over. Bumrah coming in again for the third delivery, right arm over the wicket, and again defended. This time it is fielded by Siraj. This time at cover, as Siraj defended it, as Labuschagne defended it a lot straighter than the last one, and there is no run. As we see the summary of the sessions, between 80 and 90 runs scored each session. The difference really being the wickets that have fallen. 4 in the first, 6 in the second, and 1 so far in the third. Excuse me. 2 more deliveries left, as Jasprit Bumrah has so far is inked in for a maiden. Right arm over the wicket. This one is a full toss that is played by Labuschagne. He looks to lift it over Bumrah's head. Bumrah gets a hand to it but can't hold on to it. The Australians steal a single though. Final delivery of the day, I would think. In comes Bumrah. Right arm over the wicket, and this one is defended by McSweeney square of the wicket. And Australia are 86 for 1, trailing by 94 runs. McSweeney on 38 and Labuschagne on 20. That is the end of the day's play. Let's give you the highlights very, very shortly. India won the toss, elected to bat first. Their highest score in their first innings was, again, Nitish Kumar Reddy, who was also the highest scorer in their first innings in Perth. He made 42. I was mistaken in thinking he made 42 as well in Perth. He didn't. He made 41. KL Rahul made 37. Shubman Gill 31 and Ravichandran Ashwin 22. No one else made double figures. 180 all out India at the tea break. Mitchell Starc, the pick of the bowlers for Australia, he took 6 wickets. And then came the evening session. There was a lot of movement through the air for the Indian seamers, but they could only snatch 1 wicket, and that was Usman Khawaja, who was caught. Sharma bowled Bumrah for 13. So Bumrah, the only Indian bowler to take a wicket thus far. The only spin over was bowled by Ravichandran Ashwin as the penultimate over of the day. Australia currently 86 for 1 after 33 overs. Nathan McSweeney on 38 and Manus Labuschagne on 20, the not out batsman. So please forgive me if I end this stream. But first, let's have a look at social media. Hattie the Betty says, thanks, catch you tomorrow. Yes, you are very welcome. And to everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you like this, please consider subscribing and liking. Doesn't cost anything. And yeah, I will catch you tomorrow, bright and early, at 5 a.m. my time, for the second day of the second test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy 2024. Thank you very, very much.